clear and sunny skies. But not anymore. In mid-December, Mumbai's AQI was worse than Delhi for an entire week. Experts have blamed weather events and wind speed for the worsening quality. But equally responsible is the unchecked human activity in Mumbai. I'm talking about things like construction projects and metro expansion. They've increased the presence of dust particles, resulting in higher AQI. And this winter, it's been pretty bad. Some days, almost as bad as Delhi. The question is, who's responsible for this unchecked human activity? Now, according to BJP MLA Ashish Shelar, the previous MVA government should be taking responsibility. Mr. Shelar says the Mahavikas Aghadi government gave financial concessions to real estate companies, which led to uncontrolled rise in construction activity. He wants Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister from the BJP, Devendra Fadnavis, to form a committee and fix accountability on errant officers responsible for Mumbai's pollution. Ashish Shelar, in fact, is now joining me on the broadcast. Mr. Shelar, thank you very much. It's always good to hear a politician talk about things that really matter to the people of a city or a state or a country. Can I begin by asking you, what made you write that letter to Devendra Fadnavis?
Very frankly, we all was observing from days that there is a pollution we can see everywhere near seaside. So it is like invisible to see the other side. I stay at Bandra, but every day I could see the Worli side. But nowadays, what I've seen that we can't even visually see the Worli side from Bandra. That was the basic reason. And apart from that, when I started getting delegations from the students, the parents, and especially the grandparents who are worrying about their own health and also their grandchildren's health. And when the delegation started coming to me and they were pleading to me, saying that our grandchildren are facing a problem for breathing, they are coughing, they are uneasy, and I feel that that is the right time now we should act very quickly. And that's why from last 3 days I'm trying to communicate with the BMC. Ultimately, I wrote a letter to Honorable Deputy Chief Minister.
And it is not just a letter, it's a bit of a thesis on what can be done to fix Mumbai's air. Could you tell our viewers what proposals you have put forward, Mr. Shelar?
In the letter, I have proposed many things, very pinpointedly. 13 things I have proposed. To begin with, as we have seen in our national capital, there is a commission for air quality maintenance and monitoring. Why can't Mumbai also have the same, though we are not comparing ourselves with Delhi's air quality? But the fact remains that we need to be concerned about the air quality. And therefore, the commission for air quality monitoring is much more needed, number one. Number two, what we have seen in the media and on the social media, and also the concern from the people that the construction material is also one of the major reasons for this pollution. If that is so, what we have seen that this construction material spreading is happening more because the construction is going in a huge number in the city. And the reason behind the same is very specific, that last year and a year prior to that, the earlier Thackeray government, for the best reason known to them, they have given the concessions on the premium of the construction with 50%. At the same time, there was a concession on the stamp duty, which was helping the developers and the builders. And therefore, from last 2 years, the many proposals has got approved to get the facility of the concession. And in last 2 years, whatever the facilities has been approved for saving the money, now have reached to a construction site level. And when the construction has started more in number, so immediately this particle dust which is going into the air is grown because of the more number of construction site has started. So we need to regulate. Earlier on a particular road, there would be 2 or 3 construction sites on major areas. Now it has been enhanced to 7 and 8. So obviously there would be more dust and there is a no washing of the road. So one needs to regulate the same. That is, I have proposed in this letter, apart from what I have seen in particular areas like Malwani, Govandi, Mamad Ali Road, Dharavi, still the residue and the remaining part of the electric wiring, the burning of the same is going in more number. So which also needs to be monitored, controlled and penalized. I have proposed about the same also.
Mr. Shelar, it's good that you're talking about Mumbai's pollution. Someone needs to, and it's good that politicians are talking about it. But why are you dragging the Mahavikas Aghadi into this, given the fact that the BJP can be accused of many things as well, including getting trees cut in Delhi? For example, the bullet train, the Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train, 20,000 trees were cut for it. The metro project, again, thousands of trees cut for it as well. So will this political finger pointing achieve anything? Because it can continue, for the rest of our lives without the problem getting fixed.
I don't want to make a politicization of the same, and nor I have spoke against the government. My major submission is before the BMC commissioner. And when for 2-3 days I tried to communicate, there was no change. Then I have gone to higher ups and I have complained to them. I think it is my duty, and it is a citizen's voice needs to be addressed and reached to the proper level, which I have done. So I have no regret about the same. Number 2, as far as bullet train project or metro project is concerned, both are carbon neutral projects, and therefore metro running into the city would help less number of carbon emission, and that is something which is going to help the pollution. And therefore I am in fullest support of the project called metro or a bullet train. Now coming to the point of political allegations, yes, in democracy everyone has something to speak about. What I proposed is something which needs to be taken into consideration by the administration, and I am hopeful they will consider. If any other political party or activist may have some more suggestions to do or counter my suggestions, they are welcome to do it. I am concerned about Mumbaikars.
Mr. Shelar, that's very good, but this is your administration, so obviously they will need to consider what you're saying. But is there a worry in Mumbai that the city is becoming possibly another Delhi when it comes to air pollution?
No, I don't think that we should reach to the level of comparing Mumbai with Delhi. Fortunately, we are in a better position. I don't want to pass any comment on Delhi also. I want to only say that the Mumbai has a natural advantage of the wind and many other things. Point is that today we are relaxed. Today we have first time seen the situation where we feel a problem for the senior citizen and children to breathe for a particular time. The situation is not worsen up. Why can't we presume, predict and visualize tomorrow's problem and start acting from today itself? And that's the reason I have given some suggestions.
Okay. Mr. Ashish Shelar, they're all good suggestions. Thank you very much for joining us. And it's good, as I said, that politicians in the city are talking about Mumbai's pollution, because if people in the city are talking about Mumbai's pollution, it is the politicians' job to not just talk about it, but fix the situation as well. Mr. Shelar, thank you very much. Of course, Mr. Shelar's comments are drawing a sharp reaction from all political parties. Shiv Sena's Aditya Thackeray has rejected the charges made against the previous government. That's the Mahavikas Aghadi, a government that his father headed. He says that his party has become the new Jawaharlal Nehru for the BJP. Meanwhile, the Shiv Sena and the MBA are being blamed for everything going wrong in Maharashtra. Listen to what he's saying.
उनके आरोपों को मैं ज्यादा भाव नहीं देता, क्योंकि उनको शायद पता नहीं उनका जो उनकी स्टडी काफी वीक है. थोड़ी स्टडी करके और बात करें, अगर हमारी एमकैप देखें, अगर हमारी पॉलिसीज देखें, तो उनको पता चलेगा. लेकिन एक बात अच्छी है कि वो काफी सारे विषयों में मुझसे सुर मिला रहे. रेसकोर्स के बारे में उनका भी आरोप था कि बिल्डरों के हाथों में जा रहा है, जो मैंने कहा. ये भी विषय अगर आप देखें तो पिछले 2 महीनों से मैं ट्वीट कर रहा हूं मुंबई के AQI के बारे में, और महाराष्ट्र को पर्यावरण मंत्री नहीं है, ये भी मैं ट्वीट कर रहा हूं. पहली बार उन्होंने मुझसे सुर मिलाया. अच्छा है, सुर में सुर मिले तो.
In the last 6 months, the BJP and the Eknath Shinde faction government is in Maharashtra. So he should also tell the people what measures and steps they have taken to keep the air clean in the last 6 months. And if they are so concerned, have they not signed any files or given permissions for construction in Mumbai city?
Does he mean that the increase in vehicles was made by Mahavikas Agadi? Mahavikas Agadi purchased vehicles and given it to the people of Mumbai. Does he mean that the change in wind speed was happened due to Mahavikas Agadi? Does he mean that the concession given to the construction industry really affects the pollution of the Mumbai city? If it is so, he is in power, his party is in power. So they should take appropriate action to reduce the pollution, to make it carbon zero city by 2035.
Now, you've heard what the politicians are saying, but pollution is far too grave an issue to be reduced to a mere political tu-tu-me-me debate in a television studio. This is something where you need to hear people's voices, and you need to hear from experts as well, not just politicians. We heard from the politicians, but we know what exactly they will do when they come for a debate on a TV show, which is why today we have not invited them. We've invited people who work with the environment, journalists who track environment in Maharashtra and in Mumbai as well. But first, I'm going across to Shweta, who is joining us from Mumbai, and she's talking to some citizens about Mumbai's pollution and how this winter has been particularly bad as far as the AQI levels are concerned. Shweta, it's over to you.
Well, absolutely. Here we are present at iconic spot, and this is a Marine Drive. And in fact, here, if we just show you, currently, if we just pan the camera, in fact, the Queen necklace is very much visible right here. But apart from this, we have went through people asking them that how do they find the air quality index of Mumbai currently. Talking to the fact that while we are discussing about air quality index, there are several reasons because of which the haze, in fact, particles, they just come onto the air quality index level. We are joined by few people here. उत्तम, आपसे जानना चाहेंगे, हम इस इंटरव्यू के पहले भी बात कर रहे थे, एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स की अगर हम बात करें तो मुंबई की आबो हवा आपको फिलहाल कैसी लग रही है?
थैंक यू, आपने अपने चैनल पे मुझे बोलने का अवसर दिया। मैं फिलहाल दिल्ली से हूँ और यहाँ पे आके एक सुकून महसूस हो रहा है। दिल्ली से हम आए, कुछ काम से आए थे, फिर मैंने इतनी अच्छी हवा और शुद्ध हवा और मतलब कि इतना अच्छा वातावरण देखा, तो मुझे लग रहा है कि मैं 1-2 दिन और यहाँ पे रहूं।
अच्छा, लेकिन पॉलिटिशियंस कह रहे हैं कि जो आबो हवा खराब हुई है पिछली सरकार के चलते है, काफी पॉलिटिकल ब्लेम गेम हम देख रहे हैं, लेकिन एज ए सिटीजन आपको क्या लग रहा है?
मैम, ऐसा देखो, ऐसी कोई बड़ी बात नहीं होती है, ये किसी गवर्नमेंट के ऊपर नहीं होता है। अब दिल्ली की बात करें तो दिल्ली की हवा कितनी खराब हो गई है, क्योंकि सीएम और पॉलिटिशियंस या फिर गवर्नमेंट के हाथ में कुछ नहीं होता कि वो उसको दबा के रखे, ठीक है, वो
उससे सुधार जरूर सकते हैं। वेल, उत्तम, थैंक यू। Shreya, here we have spoken to few people, and clearly, as of now, the air quality index is between moderate to poor. That's around 117 to 207. But yes, there was a time where we saw a very, very poor category also for Mumbai. But as of now, what we understand from citizen is that, yes, there was a time, but as of now, the air quality index is into a moderate level.
Okay, it's a good day in Mumbai, which is why the Delhiite is enjoying the breeze by the sea. We'll let him enjoy that and let you enjoy that as well, Shweta. Thank you very much. Richa Pinto is a special correspondent of the Times of India. She's joining us on the broadcast, tracks environment. And Dr. Milind Kulkarni is Professor IIT Bombay. He's also an author. And Vimlendu Jha is an old friend of Mirror Now, joining us on the broadcast as well. Richa Pinto, can I come to you first? We've just heard from a Delhiite in Bombay. Saying hawa itni achhi hai, everything is so good. I wish I could stay here a couple of days as well. But Mumbai's winter air has been a spot of bother for Mumbaikars. On some days, it's been worse than Delhi. Is it just you know, the weather going rogue, or does Mr. Shelar have a point?
Shreya, I think I have to disagree with the gentleman who said it's a good day for Bombay, because again today we are seeing that Bombay and Delhi's AQI levels are almost the same. I think Bombay is 273 and Delhi is 280. So the thing is that Bombay has always, as I think you also mentioned it at the beginning, Bombay has always had the advantage of the sea. But for some reason, we are seeing that owing to
Okay, I think Richa's
kilometer
connection is not very
density,
good. We'll try and
population.
patch with her. Okay. Go ahead, Richa. We had lost you for a moment there.
Yeah. So I was saying that in Bombay, bad air quality is much of a concern because the per square kilometer density is a population is much higher. So that means toxic air is affecting a larger amount of people. Uh, I think what we saw last year was the launch of the Mumbai Climate Action Plan, which did give out, strategies that we should implement basically to curb pollution levels or to ensure that there are lower emissions. I think it's high time that we start implementing those before bad air quality becomes a public health emergency. Uh, and I think what will help is having more real-time sensors, because presently, if we see, we have around 20 in the city. Having more real-time sensors, air quality sensors, monitoring sensors would mean that we have more data in hand, which will be boon for policymakers also to decide on future mitigation measures. One more thing I think
Okay.
is that it's high time that the authorities also put checks and balances in place. Last month, when we saw that the G20 presidency summit was happening in the city, there were a few measures proposed by the civic body, like, for those 10 days, debris would not be transported, which meant that they did acknowledge that there was a problem. So I think it's time that we acknowledge this as a problem and we look at strategies that could be implemented.
Dr. Milind Kulkarni, now, after this winter, I don't think anyone can deny the fact that there is a problem in Mumbai, that you just simply cannot close your eyes and wish it away. Mumbai's air may not be as well today, as Richa is pointing out, perhaps is as bad as Delhi. Most days it isn't, but this winter has been bad for Mumbai.
ऐकू येत नाही.
Dr. Kulkarni, I can hear you. Go ahead. This question was for you.
Yeah, I could hear half of your question. So, yeah, what Richa was telling is right, that Mumbai also is facing a very severe problem. And, the problem is severe in winter, because in winter we get what is called as inversion layer. So it acts as a lead and it stops the vertical dispersion of air pollutants. And therefore, in winter months particularly, the air pollution concentration in Mumbai is very high. And particularly the air pollutants which are responsible for Mumbai are particulate matter. That is particulate matter less than 10 microns, particulate matter less than 2.5 microns, and followed by nitrogen dioxide. So these are the major air pollutants which are affecting the health of the Mumbai city. But when we say air quality index, this air quality is measured at a height of say 70 feet from the ground level. So when a person actually inhales the air quality is worse actually. So there is no monitoring of personal exposure to air pollution. So my research at IIT Bombay has shown that it is 2 to 3 times more than whatever air quality index is shown by air quality monitoring agencies like SAFAR, etc. So a lot needs to be done in cities like Mumbai and even Delhi also to monitor the personal exposure of air pollution. And it is necessary to work, politicians, government agencies, citizens together, and like solid waste management, this should become a mission. So particularly the role of enforcement agencies is also very important. So before me, speakers were talking about construction activities which are responsible. but there are methods by which you can reduce or prevent the air pollution coming out from construction activities. For example, if there are ready-mix concrete mixers, you can have a proper scrubbing arrangement by which the emission will be reduced at the source itself. But as far as enforcement is considered, I think much is required to be done. So, London, for example, they faced a problem of air pollution. Los Angeles faced a problem of air pollution. But they have got rid of this problem by adopting various control measures. Even Beijing has also reduced air pollution. Sure. I think similar efforts are required to be done in Mumbai as well as Delhi.
Before I come to Vimlendu Jha, Dr. Kulkarni, is it then good that the politicians are talking about it? Ashish Shelar, after all, has raised the issue. Aditya Thackeray is talking about it. They may be worrying about it, but the fact is they're talking about it. And that's a good thing.
Exactly. That is a very good thing because, they play a very important role in enforcing the policies. So they should not stop at that point. They should take enforcement agencies to task. For example, there is Maharashtra Pollution Control Board. Their principal role is to take action against air polluting industries, construction industries, etc. Then there are research institutes like I have done research from IIT Bombay. So research institutes, enforcement agencies, political leadership and citizens. If they come together and then we consider this as a serious problem, there is solution. So you are right in that the political leadership role, they are considering this air pollution as an important issue. That is the most important step, I will say.
Citizens need to be more vocal about it. I would say, are Mumbai citizens as vocal as Delhi's citizens? I don't think so. Vimlendu Jha, that's because Delhi has lived with pollution for a long time now. For Mumbai, it's what they say, a novel experience. But all these years, when you're growing up, you were always told if there's the sea, there is no pollution problem for you. Bombay is proving us wrong.
Absolutely, Shreya. So, imagine despite having a coastline, still Mumbai actually in terms of AQI is as bad as what Delhi is. And it's, the thing is that we've not been noticing this bad air. Many people said, oh, well, it wasn't as bad. And perhaps you also mentioned it has been bad. We have normalized bad air unless and until it is 300, 400, and 300 is when cities shut down. But we are all okay. One of the persons on the show said that the air is perhaps better today, but better is 290. 290 is not better. 290 is still very, very bad. Now when the political class talks about it, it's interesting that someone from BJP was actually talking about Mumbai's air quality. And similarly, we've seen here in Delhi someone talking about the landfill problem right now with the MCD elections. Good that environmental issues have taken, the front for in that sense. But is it to really blame the other or is it to find a solution? Because if you look at it, and we've been talking about it for a long time, I've done several shows on Mirror now when RA forest was actually cut down. And we kept saying, and many environmentalists kept saying, that perhaps once you are looking at losing out a forest for a parking lot, this will happen. Please beware. And what was the conversation that time? It was about, no, development is more important than right to breath. And therefore, when today I sit here and say, I told you so, and very unfortunately, this is what we're making of our cities. If you cut down 20,000 trees, as you mentioned, for the bullet train, almost 3,000 trees in RA, and the thousands and acres of mangroves, when you construct, what do you expect? And by the way, Mumbai's situation is in many ways worse than Delhi because Delhi is landlocked. Mumbai has the advantage of sea and the coastline. And despite that, if Mumbai's air quality is as bad as Delhi, at least right now, that means that the actual pollution, we should not take dispersion or wind speed as a solution. That's the displacement of pollutants that you're talking about. Production of pollutants still remains the same. Therefore, it means that Mumbai actually is producing as much pollutants, as much dust, as much toxins through its vehicle, through its construction, through its waste burning, through its other urban human activities, and we tend to ignore it. And we always were, thinking that perhaps a forest in the suburbs will solve it, or the sea would. There is a capacity limit that even the sea has, even our forests have. And when you cut down the sea, when you block the sea and construct so much, when you actually take away all the mangroves and cut down the forest. Why? Because you want a better lifestyle, a more convenient lifestyle. The AQI is going to be 300 and perhaps worse. And if you read the articles that's actually come on Mumbai's air quality, a lot of it is attributed to climate change, as in terms of when we talk about wind speed, why is there a change in wind speed? A lot of it is because of climate change, because of the temperature increase or the difference in temperature in our sea. Now, why is that happening? A lot of it is human activity. A lot of it is actually collective activity, the state activity, or the developmental model that we're talking about. And therefore, Shreya, we cannot have a conversation on environmental issues in isolation. RA, forest, Mumbai's air pollution, the bullet train, the Joshimat, Delhi's air quality, our development model, all of it is one issue. We might have separate episodes or separate conversations on that with separate political parties talking about and blaming each other, but these are all connected. All of it is happening at the same time in the same country. Absolutely. With similar issues as a backdrop, and every scientist will tell you that the backdrop is the same and therefore the cause and effect is the same.
Dr. Kulkarni, then, as I conclude, is it time for Mumbai now, much like Delhi, to get in the graded action plan? Because the solutions will have to be found. Can construction be stopped in Mumbai? No, it cannot be stopped. There is a lot of politics about, incentivizing construction, etc., etc. We'll not get into the politics of it for the moment, at least, because there are no politicians on this panel. But is it time for the graded action plan to sort of kick in Mumbai, for a model like that to be adopted in Mumbai as well?
Yes, exactly. We should find out long-term solutions. There is no magic wand as such. So we have to, as I told you, we have to come together, and together we have to see what enforcement action can be taken, and then inventarization of various sources of air pollution, and then how to control this air pollution in the long run so that this air quality is brought down. Air quality index can be brought down below the magic figure of 100. So that is the solution. I will say that instead of talking today air quality index is so much, tomorrow it is so much, we have to come together and work on, as you told, development we can't stop, like construction industries, it should be there. But along with that, they should work with the proper control measures. And these control measures should be properly implemented, so that the air which is emanating out of these activities, it's very low in air pollutant. So that is applicable to industry, that is applicable to transportation sources. So there are number of sources. Some sources are natural also. So that should be the action plan.
Okay. Well, I really hope the BMC elections are this year, and I really hope that it is that it is an election mudda, as it were, that people vote for a party that speaks about battling pollution, at least speaks about. We don't know what happens in the long run. Anyhow, we'll leave it there for the moment. Richa Pinto, good to have you on the show. Dr. Kulkarni, and always good to have you, Vimlendu Jha, on the show as well. With that, I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. There's lots more news coming up on the other side. Do stay with us.